Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video that I wish I did not have to make, but for transparency, I want to be candid with you guys, and I got horrendously unlucky with the Adventure Deck of Fate. I managed to earn 8 flips thus far via champion training, and unfortunately, we have not gotten a single node of Titan event points, and I literally only need 20 in order to ensure that I can complete or get the 5-star soul from the Titan event. As I mentioned in my free-to-play review of the Adventure Deck of Fate, this is the situation that I was going to wait for just to see if this happened. And in the case that it did, I did have a fail-safe plan, which was, of course, to pull some shards. I mean, obviously, I could burn a bunch of gems and run a bunch of campaign and do all that, you know, get a bunch of energy and try to get, 2 to 3, maybe 4 flips that way. But it just seems like in terms of resource cost, that would just be a lot more expensive than I'd like it to be just to get the 5-star soul. And in general, that's probably not going to work for most people, but in my case, I do know how many shards I have and how many I'm willing to part with for certain events, and in this case, I'm willing to part with some void shards. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be pulling at least 30. Hopefully that's enough. That should be worth around 10 flips or so, which more than likely should get us at least a couple of nodes of Titan event points, and who knows, maybe we'll get enough to be able to skip the dungeon divers that I still have to do in the wee hours of the night here. So we'll see what happens. While we're here in the portal, might as well mention the overall shard count on the account, which is 664 on the ancients, 276 on the voids, which we'll be dipping into today, of course, 31 on the primals, and 57 on the sacreds. And just for reference, I'll also pop up the mercy tracker on the screen so you can see why, or you can understand why I decided to choose voids in this case, because we're pretty far from mercy. There's no 2x going on right now, so the absolute worst case, we just get a little bit closer to mercy. Now, as this is a summon rush, I don't really care about getting epics, but I did make selections in the progressive chance just to see. I already have Frenzy the Cackler, so she's kind of relevant, and I don't have a Krisk, but who knows, we might be able to get him. I do have 2 Hanorok, so I don't really need a copy of her, but not expecting to get a legendary, and I'm expecting to see a lot of void rares, but nonetheless, I wouldn't mind getting Diana Doompiercer or Slixus, 2 previous fusion epics who were void, who I obviously don't have because I fed them into their fusion counterparts. So without further ado, let's get into the pulls. We're going to start off with 30 voids, and that should get us around 10 flips or so. We'll do the flips as well, and hopefully we can walk away there without having to go a little bit deeper. But yeah, 2x voids is not on, so I do expect to see a bunch of rares, and that is okay. But yeah, 3250 per 10 pop. Although Arbalaster is good and Huntress is good. That's for Broadmaw. Or I guess, yeah, they're both for Broadmaw, so that's kind of good to get. Second 10 pop here, more rares. We're probably going to hit Mercy for voids and eventually get an epic. Maybe not on this one, but probably on the next 10 pop. But yeah, 20 rares in a row, not unsurprising. Oh, okay, we got 2 epics. Hey, we'll take that. Yeah, 2 more Broadmaw epics. We'd love to see that. Cardinal and Padma already have them, but they're nice to have. I guess Padma, I think she could be +4 now, even though she's not really built on my account. I used to use her for the Eternal Dragon. So 30 voids. This should be the last 10 pop. Hopefully, this is the last 10 pop of the day. And yeah, not much to say there. I mean, a Cardinal is good too, I guess, if you like that stone skin, go second team type composition. But I don't use her in that capacity, but nonetheless, that is what she can do. And then Frenzy the Cackler, a little bit of HP burn, HP burn activation, but like I said, I already have her. So let's hop over to the Deck of Fate, where we have 10 more flips. And essentially what I'm looking for here is, I think there's like a couple of common nodes that have 10 under them, and there's a couple of rare nodes that have 40. So 40 would be great, but I wouldn't mind just hitting 2 10s and calling it a day. So hopefully we can stop after these 10 flips. And I guess while we're here, I might as well talk about the pinning feature, which I did not notice at all in my free-to-play review of this. I didn't realize that they had, I noticed subconsciously there was a little bit more text than usual and when I was scrolling down, but I didn't actually read it until later when all of you guys in the comments mentioned this whole pinning thing. And just a quick summary of my thought process with it is that if you're going to be pulling a large amount or flipping a large amount of the cards, then you probably do want to just kind of pin the epic cards, just because you're going to most likely get all 3 sets of 3. Usually there's like a maximum of 10 epic cards, so there's 3 sets of 3, and that's probably worth it relative to the streaks, just because you get the most bang for your buck in terms of that. But in doing so, you technically will forfeit getting 3 rares in a row, which could be also advantageous. But I think in the long run, that's probably the best thing to do, again, if you're doing a large amount of flips. But if you're doing a small amount of flips, I think you're probably better off just trying to play for getting 3 commons in a row and not pinning anything, and just kind of taking your taking the chance, because the likelihood that you get 3 rares in a handful of flips or 3 epics in a handful of flips is horrendously unlikely, regardless of whether or not you pin. But anyways, let's get cracking here. So we are looking for rares and commons, and I'm kind of just clicking randomly at this point. There is a strategy that I used to employ, but it kind of changed when you have this whole pinning system. And yeah, well, the 2 epics will take that, but we are honestly looking for the rares and the commons. And okay, sweet. All right, so we're done. I mean, we'll flip the rest just for S's and G's, but we are done. We did finally get the Titan event points, and we get the bonus of the, or I guess we get to see the pinned epics coming into fruition there with the 6-star mythical chaos ore, which isn't the worst thing in the world. 6 more flips. I guess we can go back to being a little bit more strategic here. And so I don't know, I guess anything goes. So we're looking for, I don't know, maybe a 3 streak of commons. So any one of the bottom 3 rows would have the highest likelihood of getting those. There's some more Titan points. There's some more Slayer gear. And bummer, we hit a rare. Yeah, in this case, I'm not going to pin it because it's not going to matter, because I only have 3 more flips. And I doubt we get 2 rares in both of those flips. But yeah, so, was I wrong? Oh, maybe I should have pinned it. Well, 3 in a row? No, unfortunate. Okay, didn't matter. Good to know. It didn't really matter. Oh, no, it did matter. Oh, I should have pinned it. I made a mistake. Well, there you go. You live and you learn. Unlikely happening there, but we happen to get 3 blues, and I should have pinned it. But it's not the end of the world. It's fine. But yeah, so mission accomplished. We had to spend 30 voids in order to do it, but we did end up getting the last amount of the Titan event points. Unfortunately, it is not enough to bypass the Dungeon Divers event, so we still have to do that. So good chunk of energy I got to throw at that. What is that? Over 1,000? It's going to be painful. So yes, that means that I was going to have to spend gems tonight regardless on energy, but it's just a little bit more efficient to run dungeons versus campaign, and obviously efficiency of time, because I can just blitz through Spider in a couple of minutes compared to running campaign for a few hours. And obviously, as you can see here, we only have 5 hours left, so it's a little bit iffy to try and commit to grinding champion training instead, and then hope that we get a couple of flips in order to get the Titan event points. So I wanted to guarantee that we can do it in an expedient fashion. So I will be spending the rest of the evening here getting out to the 3700 node, and then we can basically call the Titan event complete. And don't worry, I understand that the math isn't mathing, because obviously we'd be 20 points short here if I just finished the Dungeon Divers, but that's because I have yet to collect to the ice column points there, the 50 node there. So we're guaranteed we are going to get the 1500 points, do not worry. All right, so that's going to do it for this bonus shard pull video, and we get to end it by staring into the eyes of the +4 Padma that is now on my account, the second +4 epic on my account. Like I said at the beginning, the purpose of this video is mostly just for transparency, just so that you guys know that I did end up having to pull some shards in order to complete the Deck of Fate. Therefore, I had to spend a little bit more than the shards I already spent on all the other shard events relative to the overall Titan event. And so this all will be summarized in my post that I will put out tomorrow morning, probably, talking about how many supplies I ended up spending over the course of the entirety of the Titan event. So yeah, honestly, I do have to admit that this Titan event has been a little bit more costly than I anticipated. Because of potential surprises like this one are why I tend to have an abundance of resources such that I'm ready for anything and everything that they might throw our way. That playstyle may not work for you, and thus it's not a formal recommendation, but nonetheless it does explain how I'm able to do everything that I can do, even being free to play but still being in the end game. So all in all, in the comment section down below, let me know what your strategy was relative to the new pinning feature in the Deck of Fate if you were participating in it, and let me know if you pulled anything amazing from your shard pulls, or if you just did champion training to get a couple of flips here and there. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then feel free to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel, and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.